My first week in wealth management, a 68-year-old advisor asked me to take my clothes off in front of him. I was 24 years old at the time. The guy knew that I was new to the city, just complete predator. And it was like such a jarring experience.
Ugh.
So I came forward, I filed the claim, found out a year later actually that like there were a lot of victims. It was like a very much predatory situation.
Thank God you came forward.
I know, truly. I actually had an assistant who came to me a year later and she said, I'll never be able to thank you enough for speaking up because he tortured me for years.
Yes.
I ended up filing 6 sexual harassment complaints in 3 years.
Walking down the street, thinking about her exit, breaking down the steps so every founder gets it. She's the exit whisperer, she's opening the door. It started with a whisper, now that whisper's gonna roar. She just sold her company, and here you get the real story. You could be next. Walking down the street, thinking about her exit.
Welcome back to another episode of The Exit Whisperer. I am your resident exit whisperer, Carrie Kerpen, here to tell you the secrets of female-founded businesses and their exits, whether they're big or small. Now, this week is a little bit different because I am giving you the secrets on what you need to do to set yourself up financially for the best possible exit. In fact, I've brought Kaitlyn Carlson from my favorite financial planning offices over at Theory Planning to help give you the exact, unbiased, brilliant advice to help set yourself up for success, not just for when you sell, but for all the time leading up. Now, here's the thing, like this episode is jam-packed. It's got it all. It's got a start in corporate America that would make your skin crawl. It's got a decision to start a business based on values versus optimizing for maximum dollar. It's about scale. And it's about exactly what you need to do right now to make sure that you're set up for the exit of your dreams. I can't wait for you to meet Kaitlyn Carlson of Theory. I'm just blown away by her story, how candid she is, how aligned I felt with her. If you feel the same way, go to theoryplanning.com today and make sure to fill out the form. And when you speak to somebody, make sure that you let them know that you heard it from this podcast because I am certain that my audience needs Kaitlyn. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here.
Kaitlyn, I couldn't be more excited for you to be here because you just, and listen, I tell this story. I think I would tell this story to anyone who I was ever introducing you to. We were on a panel together. We were actually, you might not know this part of the story. We were in the green room or whatever the green room would be. And you walked in and I just like heard you talking for 2 minutes. And I was like, she gets it. I get it. Like, this is going to be we hadn't met. Was there panel prep? There was no panel prep. So we just locked eyes. And then when we were on the panel, it was like crazy ass magic. Like we were just like sitting there and I was like, I love her. She speaks to me. I understand when she talks about wealth and wealth creation and money management, like she gets it. And it just like, it spoke to me. And then I was like, we're best friends for life, basically.
Obviously.
Yeah, obviously. For life. Okay. So I cannot wait to talk about the way you do business today, but I cannot talk about that without going back to your start. So talk to me a little bit about like how you got started in wealth management or in any of this space prior to starting Theory.
I feel like we have to go way back.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
Way back to
I'm
when
ready.
I came out of the womb.
I'm ready. You emerged from the womb.
I emerged from the womb.
With a love for numbers. No, I'm just kidding.
Definitely not a love for numbers. Interestingly.
Tell me.
I came out of the womb believing I could do everything a man could do. Like genuinely, deeply in my soul. And that led me to playing ice hockey in the 90s when not a lot of other girls were playing ice hockey.
Wow.
Yeah.
This must be a very special time for you right now.
It is. I had 3 former teammates on the U.S. gold medal team.
No way.
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's incredible.
Thank you.
Okay, so you start out playing anything a man can do, I can do. You're playing ice hockey.
Yes. And then ice hockey led me to boarding school.
Okay.
So I sent myself to boarding school, even though I would never go to sleepaway camp. But I just knew, like, I want to play hockey in college, and this is what I have to do to get there.
Yes, I actually know a lot of parents who sent their kids for that exact reason, ended up playing either ice hockey or one of the like more intensive sports where they ended up going to boarding school. It was a big choice.
Yeah.
So you decided that yourself?
Yes. I
Okay.
went to my parents in 8th grade and I said, I want to play hockey in college and I have to go to boarding school if I want to do that. Because I was playing on 3 hockey teams, 2 softball teams, and was never going to have time to do my homework.
Wow.
So I sent myself to boarding school. And then I ended up going to Amherst College, played hockey there. And I thought I was going to go to Amherst and major in econ because my dad and my grandfather were both in finance. And I just felt like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. But I was actually bored to tears by econ.
Oh, this is so interesting.
Yes, but I fell in love with psychology.
Was the decision to go into finance, even though you were bored by things like econ, money motivated? Was it motivated by what led to it?
I think it was money motivated. I think it was like I had this vision of myself, like in a pencil skirt and heels and working in finance.
Yeah,
and
this is why I went into advertising because of Melrose Place.
yes.
Yeah, Amanda from Melrose Place.
Like career day in 3rd grade, I was like, I'm just going to be whoever wears a pencil skirt and heels. Because I think
exactly.
that's cool.
It was done by the outfit. 100%. The advertising was the exact same thing for me. Okay. So you end up then going into finance.
Yes.
Okay.
And I knew that like you could make good money in finance
of course.
too. And I wanted to be successful. So that was a big driver. And then I got into asset management, and the asset management firm that I joined was sold, their funds were sold strictly through financial advisors.
Okay.
So I got introduced to the financial advisor career path very early in my career. And when I discovered it, I was like, oh my God, this is such a great marriage between my interests of psychology and finance.
That's right.
Because I get to work with money, but I get to do it in the context of families and people and putting faces and names and
what
all that stuff
motivates them,
together.
what matters to them, their risk tolerance, their feelings about money, their history, all of it.
Yes,
totally
exactly.
Get this.
I was in a 2-year management rotational program at the asset management firm. My husband was promoted to take a job in Louisiana. So when he received that promotion, we moved from Boston to New Orleans, which was crazy. And I made the deliberate decision to move over to UBS because UBS was a prestigious wealth management firm. I was going to be working with ultra high net worth families. They were going to pay for me to get my CFP. I knew I was going to get incredible experience there. My first week in wealth management, a 68-year-old advisor asked me to take my clothes off in front of him. I was 24 years old at the time. The guy knew that I was new to the city, just complete predator. And it was like
Oh my God.
such a jarring experience. So that was my introduction to the wealth management space, and also sort of like the power dynamics that exist within the wealth management space with billionaires and centimillionaires. Fortunately, I had a great manager and my boyfriend now husband. They both encouraged me to come forward and file a claim. So I did.
This was somebody who worked
At UBS.
At UBS.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So I came forward, I filed the claim. I found out a year later, actually, that like there were a lot of victims. It was like a very much predatory situation.
Thank God you came forward.
I know, truly. I actually had an assistant who came to me a year later and she said, I'll never be able to thank you enough for speaking up because he tortured me for years. So that was tough. And it kept happening. So, and part of it could have been cultural, you know, like I'm a Northeastern girl. I just moved to the deep South.
Yep.
But it was like an important part of my experience because I was advocating for women and my colleagues and peers, like right off the bat. I ended up filing 6 sexual harassment complaints in 3 years at UBS.
I'm just picturing you. You're an ice hockey player who believes you can do everything a man can do. And then you come into this environment and what a freaking crazy wake-up call of what the world is like.
Yeah, totally. I felt like I was treated like a decoration, like I was only there for my appearances and not what I can contribute.
How does this impact your thoughts about your career?
That was hard because I was like, I have to act like nothing is happening, even though like my world is falling apart. And I still was passionate about the work. So I finished the 2-year program at UBS. I got my CFP. There were a lot of great people there too.
Course.
I mean, there's bad apples everywhere.
Of course.
I did
huge organization.
Yes. And I did make some phenomenal relationships. So my job was to cover Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, and Alabama by myself, which was like incredible experience. I did 300 financial plans in 2 years. Anyone ranging from like the oil rig worker who had just saved up enough to retire to like dynastic families.
So it was a mix between folks that were just focused on like their retirement plan and folks who had massive amounts of wealth.
Yes. So in that 2-year program, I was working with like a large span of people. And I was also working with over 80 different advisory teams. So I got to see who did it really, really well and who was just kind of average. And I recognized that the people who did it really well were extremely focused and had high standards and were not everything to everyone. They were very clear on like what they were doing and who they were doing it for.
When do you make the choice to leave?
So I get home from a trip to New York City, and that was sort of like the final straw. I like walked in from that trip and said to my husband, I was like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I had enough leverage with UBS at that point that I was like, you're going to pay for us to move home. You're going to get me on a new private wealth team. You're going to give me a raise. They did all those things. They got me on a private wealth team up in the Boston office. But I still like, I was with that team for 2 weeks and the complex director walks in and he says, who are your top 5 households and how many products do they have with us? And I was like, oh my God, you can get to be the second largest team at UBS and you still have to answer that question. I love how I'm telling you this story. Like you are my bestie.
Obviously. I mean, that's the whole point. So the whole point of the Exit Whisperer is to be able to share the kind of the secrets behind what actually goes on. And so I'm really happy that you're able to feel safe enough to share this information. It's really important.
I was venting to my husband about it and he was like, and a lot of my passion had been stripped out because of like everything I had been through. I was like, am I even passionate about this anymore?
Actually, I think there's a lot of people who feel that way and do start, like, do you just like go in a totally different direction?
Yeah,
but you didn't.
I just had this pull. I was like, I know I'm meant to be doing this work. And my husband was like, do you think if you changed who you did it for, that your passion would come back? And I said, maybe. And he was like, well, I've noticed that all you read about and follow is female entrepreneurs. Do you think that you could create a solution for female entrepreneurs? And I had a lot of doubts about that because in private wealth, you only know 2, Jessica Alba and Sarah Blakely. Those are the only 2 female entrepreneurs that exist.
Enter now Allison Ellsworth of Poppy. We have one more. You have a new one, Allison Ellsworth of Poppy. That's it.
So I told him, I was like, I don't even know.
Do they exist? Do they have wealth? Do they have anything that could make a business?
Right. And then he was also, oh my gosh, I love my husband. He's so great. He was like, what are your frustrations with the industry? And I just like went off on the AUM model and how it's such a disservice to business owners. And when I was getting the SEPA designation, how they just like hit us over the head with how 8 out of 10 founders will never sell. And the 9th one sells, but for concessions. And I was like, well, are we all just going to sit around here and regurgitate these sad facts or is somebody going to do something about it?
So let's talk about that for 2 minutes because I don't know that everyone listening knows what AUM is. So let's talk about assets under management and how financial advisors are typically paid. How does it work?
This is the predominant model in wealth management. So the assets under management model goes, if you, Carrie, give me $1 million, I'm going to charge you 1% of that $1 million to manage your money for you. I would make $10,000 a year off of your $1 million. And when your $1 million grows with the markets, my income grows because it's a percentage. It's a highly lucrative model. The fee comes
You don't have to do a lot to manage the money either.
You do not have to do a lot.
You just hop on a phone call every once in a while and then you let the algorithms do what they do and the market do what it does.
Exactly. And it's It's so lucrative. The fee comes directly out of the portfolio, so the client never
doesn't
feels
feel it.
The hardest part is getting the client in the door.
Yep.
And to your point, there's no added motivation to deliver any service.
That's right.
After just investing their money.
That's right. And it feels difficult. It's a big deal to move your money psychologically.
Yes.
So you generally don't change
Right.
unless there's some kind of major event. So
Right.
the asset under management racket is a good racket.
Oh my God, it's the stickiest.
Yep.
The stickiest model.
But why didn't it sit right with you?
Because it severely neglects business owners in a number of ways.
Tell me.
The first one is industry wisdom for advisors would tell you to tier your book. So there are typically like 4 tiers.
Okay.
If clients have $1 million liquid or less, they're going to be a tier 4 client.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to get the worst service. You'll get reactive service. You maybe get like 1 or 2 meetings a year. You are not getting white glove service until you exit for $100 million. And then you shoot to being a tier 1 client. But no one's really going out of their way to give you white glove service.
Right.
The second one is that it inherently makes advisors biased towards stocks and bonds because that's how they get paid. So there could be a great, let's say like real estate strategy that presents tax planning opportunities. That's a great financial planning move. But no advisor is ever going to be motivated to give that advice because if that meant taking money out of the portfolio, then they would be.
This is where you got me. This is where we were on that panel and I was sitting there and I was like, oh my God, she's totally right. She's saying what nobody's saying.
Right.
Which is that they're compensated on the stock portfolio, the stocks and bonds. They're not compensated on alternative investments. They have no interest in the alternative investments.
Right.
So that is so like, so you know this, but you know that AUM makes a lot of money. So you have to be very brave to change, to switch, to go. So you say, so you're talking to your husband. We know what sucks about this industry. We know what you love. We know what lights you up. But now you're going to have to build a business off of that with a different model.
Yeah.
How do you approach that?
The conditioning was so deep.
Yeah.
Like it was so scary.
I can imagine. I feel scared for you. I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, holy cow, how does she do that? You know, it's funny. I mentioned to somebody about this and I was like, yeah, it's great if you can do it. But like, you know, this is just the way it's done.
Right.
And it's like, so you had to decondition yourself from that.
Yes.
Okay.
A lot of deconditioning.
Okay. So how did you come up with your model? How did you start to like form the relationships? How did you build this business?
Okay. So, I mean, this is what I'm the biggest advocate of. I started with my own financial plan. So I was really clear on what do I need this business to do for me and my family. So I like wrote out my dream budget. I modeled my financial goals. And then I reverse engineered how many clients do I need at what price point to hit these goals.
Yep.
Now, the company has since evolved. That was when I was a solopreneur.
Yep.
And Theory now has a team of 9 people.
Yep.
What has not changed is my personal North Star. So even though we've moved from what I would categorize as like a lifestyle business where I am the business is me to an enterprise business where like I've built an asset that could be sold. My North Star is the same. It's just the strategy and how I'm getting to that North Star has changed.
And is the North Star a financial goal?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, of course I have like
Other
a million goals.
other
but-
goals.
So like when you are creating your North Star, it should always start with the qualitative.
Yep.
Like what do you want out of life?
Yep.
I wanted to have 3 children. I wanted the ability for them to go to private school if they wanted to.
Yep.
I wanted a $50,000 a year vacation budget. I wanted a dream home in Marblehead, which is like $4 million.
Yep.
I wanted to get the guacamole at Chipotle. Like,
Yep. You never wanted my see, it's so funny when you talk about this. So like for me, I never wanted to be
Yes.
afraid of the guacamole. Like it's like I didn't want to think about the extras. I didn't want to
Yes.
think about, oh, if I took Uber Black and I Uber home. Like I just never wanted to have to feel like I couldn't.
Right.
And that was what helped motivate me to set a plan to make more, which
Yeah.
was so interesting. So, okay, so you have the North Star.
Yep, I have the North Star.
You have the North Star, and the North Star hasn't changed.
Nope.
Is there a North Star in a specific time frame?
Yes. Okay. So my North Star is I want to be financially independent at age 60, spending $30,000 a month, adjusted for inflation. I felt like, okay, the kids will be out of the house. That feels like enough for Jake. That would feel spacious for Jake and me.
You calculated at age 60, you want to have enough either invested or in whatever assets that would throw off $30K a month.
Exactly.
Right? Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Got it.
Now, like, I hold that somewhat lightly, but it's the fact that most entrepreneurs never set a goal. Like, setting the goal is the most important.
If you're as inspired as I am by the words of Kaitlyn Carlson on this episode, I want you to go to theoryplanning.com and I want you to fill out the form and sign up to speak with Kaitlyn or one of her advisors. They are incredible. And when you do, mention that you heard it here first on the Exit Whisperer podcast. The other piece that you talked about that I think is so important, because so many of these entrepreneurs have the when I sell mentality.
Yes.
Right? I'm doing this now. I'm doing, but when I sell, my asset is going to be like, it's just worth so much. But the reality is we really don't know. And so
Right.
you talk so much about investing and setting the financial plan and working towards the financial goals prior to ever selling.
Yes.
Talk to me a little bit about that.
Oh, I love this topic. Okay. So it is very important that you start to diversify away from your business. And it really doesn't have to take that much money. But if you are able to start to build financial independence outside of the business, it lessens the pressure on the sale of the business. So a lot of people, if they take that all or nothing approach, like, I'm just going to like go really hard and die right now, but it's all going to be for the sale. That's such an extreme.
Yep.
When you could take a middle path of, let me start to save and invest now and start to build assets outside of the business, which, by the way, if you are going for like a line of credit, like I just got one this fall, I still had to personally guarantee
You
it
do.
with my
Yeah.
own assets.
Yep.
So if you can build financial independence outside of the business, it just helps in so many different ways. It diversifies you away from, we've talked about this, living and dying
Yes.
by business performance. It can lower your risk because you are starting to diversify away from the business. And then when you come to sell, it puts you more in the driver's seat in terms of like what deal you're willing to accept. Because every buyer can sense when a seller needs to sell.
100%. And the only time to sell, the best time to sell is when you don't need to, but you
Yes.
want to.
Yes.
And so if you, I remember with Likeable, I'll just tell you, like, I started very aggressively investing about a year and a half before, because I wasn't sure that I was ever I had no idea what would happen. And every month I would take a distribution, and a third of that distribution went into my investments. And it made such a huge difference to where I wasn't ever doing that before. I mean, it was like, I think in the beginning though, I wouldn't have been able to. Do you see that? You probably see that a lot. Like in the first few years when you're building a business, it's very hard.
Oh,
Hard to do
absolutely.
that.
I would say like within the first 5 to 10 years of the business, it is very hard to do.
very,
You would
very
have to be
hard to
running
do.
a highly profitable company.
Yeah.
More like a consulting firm
Yeah.
or something not as labor heavy.
Yeah.
So everyone comes in with their own financial hangups, whether it's like shame or I should be further along or this intimidates me. Like everyone comes in with those same feelings, but there's really, running a business is hard.
It's so hard.
And that's why I'm such a big advocate of building what I call like a golden triangle around an entrepreneur, where you have a CFP, which would be theory, and then you also have a CFO and a tax strategist. If you can surround yourself with those 3 people, that's going to help you go in the right direction.
And that's even early stage thinking
That
about
is-
I think
yeah.
for me, I think tax strategy and financial planning is like essential from any stage of a business. Like just starting out, sometimes it's the most essential. Like even how you structure yourself from a tax standpoint, it's really, really important.
Well, also from the financial planning side, it's what do you need this business to be doing for you? Like the business needs marching orders. And those marching orders should be driven by what you want your life to look like.
And you are in the driver's seat.
Right.
That's the thing. It's like you're actually, and that's the thing with entrepreneurship too, is like you have this ability to like set this plan for yourself and go out and make it. If you were at UBS and you were like, here's my plan, go get it. Can I please have this? It's a completely different experience when you're basically asking it of yourself and having experts around you to help guide you there. Like,
Right.
It's just a different vibe.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. I mean, I have a million things to ask you. I haven't even gotten into how you charge and flat fee and why it's the best thing ever. But before that, how important is mindset, like having a abundance mindset versus scarcity? Like you must see these people come in with really different philosophies to how they feel about money. Like I'll tell you, I mean, I'm straight up honest, Kaitlyn. They know, people who listen to this podcast know, I have always struggled with a scarcity mindset. Mm-hmm. But the challenge with that is it also served me well because it was fear that was a motivator that helped me grow to the point where I could exit because I was so cautious and conservative because I was always afraid it could go away.
Yeah.
How do you, when you're dealing with clients from your lens with this like background in psychology and all of it, how do you deal with their feelings about money, and what are your thoughts around that? Are you an abundant? You are an abundance mindset girl. I know it. Even just from looking at you, you're total abundant. All right, so fix my head right now.
Okay, so what is essential is that you have your head in the clouds and your feet on the ground.
Mm-hmm. My feet are so on the ground, locked into the ground.
People are going to be somewhere in that spectrum. Yeah. Sometimes we have clients where it's like, whoa, where'd you go? You're so far in the clouds. Like, we don't even know where you are. Yeah. And we have to be their feet. We have to be like tethering them to the ground. Yeah. And my hope is that over time, we help them strike a balance. Then we have other people whose feet are so on the ground. And it's a little bit more like, there's a whole world out there. Because you're right. The people that have a bit more of a scarcity or saver mindset, they do look great on paper when they come in.
But it's missed opportunity. You see, that's what I think a lot of times about myself. So when Dave and I ran the business together, we used to say, and my husband and I started Likeable, that I was on the ground and he's a balloon and I'm holding the balloon and we're walking together like besties.
I love
and
that.
Like, it's so true. And now I'm the balloon, right? So I'm here. I have a co-founder's holding it, but also is a little bit balloony. And then I have, a team that's there, that's rooted. So it allows me to dream more, but it's such an interesting space to have that mindset shift.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so interesting because I knew that about you when I met you. I saw it within you, just the feeling of abundance. And I do think that abundance begets abundance, like you attract that energy. And that's why I think what you do and the way you approach things from not just like a financial perspective, but more of like a psychographic is like it's so essential. So I just had I had to shift there for a second because I needed to know.
And that's why, I love the word stewardship.
Yeah.
Because stewardship to me embodies both of those things. It's like there's so much abundance out there. We're going to welcome it in and then we're going to send it in the right direction. Yeah. I love that word.
All right. Tell me about the model a little bit. So you went to flat fee. Talk to me about what this entails.
Okay. So with the flat fee model, I observed the space for a little while and I kind of got the pricing for fractional CFO services because I knew that we were going to be somewhat similar to them in terms of how much work it was going to be.
Yes.
And so I priced Theory at $1,500 a month with a one-time onboarding fee of $4,500.
Yep.
That felt fair for a high 6 into 7, 8 figure business owner where I felt like, for the amount of work that this client is going to take, that's a fair fee that's going to be digestible. Let's just say like a 7-figure business owner. That's going to be digestible for them. It's going to allow them to hire the tax strategist. It's going to allow them to hire the CFO and not break the bank for them. So that is how I settled on that fee structure. As Theory, when I first started out, I was like, I'm going to have 40 clients and I'm going to call it a day. It's going to be like...
And it'll be you.
Yes. And it was going to be me. Tracy Litt has a great quote. She says, expansion happens at the speed of safety. And I felt like as I started healing from what happened to me in wealth management, I started having a bigger vision and realized, like maybe this is going to be bigger than I thought it was going to be at first. And how could I say no to the 41st client?
Right.
So I worked with my CFO to come up with a business model that I felt great about. And what was so cool that I didn't see coming is that I not only get to positively impact female entrepreneurs, but I get to positively impact my industry.
Yep.
And so now we have 3 lead advisors on our team. One is on maternity leave right now. And so the vision is we're at almost 70 clients. I would love to grow to 120 clients with these 3 advisors. So each advisor is the primary or the lead on 40 clients and the co-lead on another 40 clients. So every household has essentially like 2 advisor brains on it.
What is the relationship as opposed to, so I'm thinking of someone who has, who would have been a tier 4 client somewhere else, is building a 7-figure business, has maybe at most $1 million that they've extracted from the business to start. What does their relationship look like with you? Like, how does it start? They're building their business. They have a 7-figure business. They sign on. They pay you the fee.
Yes.
What time are you spending with them?
A very high touch model. So we have an 8-step onboarding process. We meet weekly for 8 weeks. We build out their net worth statement, go through their cash flow, look through their wealth protection documents, discuss their goals in depth, educate them on our investment philosophy and how we steward investments. And then we come back to them with a plan presentation, which is strategy and recommendations on everything. And that provides the roadmap for implementation. That is way more time than most advisors spend
I mean,
with
it's
clients.
shocking. It's shocking.
But I think one of the things that makes us the most different is our implementation. So, okay, now we have the roadmap. Now we move into implementation. We're going to meet with you on a monthly basis for the next 12 to 18 months to make sure that every I is dotted, every T is crossed, and we are making actionable progress towards your goals. Once you are through implementation, then you're in our ongoing cadence where we're meeting with you semi-annually, and we are available for anything and everything in between that.
There's so much about what you're saying that resonates with me as a client, and also that resonates with me in the building of the Whisper Group. So I want to tell you both.
Please.
Okay. First of all, what resonates to me as a client is the feeling of feeling safe, supported, and cared for. Whereas when you work with an advisor that does an AUM model, I feel safe that my portfolio will perform. Like, it's good. My portfolio will perform. Like, he's doing the right things. Portfolio will perform. It's pretty predictable. This is different.
Yeah.
This to me is different. It is more holistic in the experience. And I mean, do you have clients that have money invested through assets under management? I would imagine.
Yeah.
Right?
We do. Yeah.
I mean,
Plenty
to
of
me,
people.
it's a truly a no-brainer in terms of the time that you offer. And that's where I want to get to what it reminds me about with the Whisper Group. I was at a workshop the other day. I went to a conference. I went to this workshop of done for you COO type thing. And just a very, very scalable big business. It charges a ton of money. And she's speaking and she's talking about charge more. Every answer is charge more. And I went up to her after and I was like, I have to tell you, like, my charging philosophy is a little different. Like, I work with what I think these women can afford and is right for them, for their business, and will make us money, will be profitable enough. Like,
Exactly.
it has to be profitable.
Yeah.
Not, running a charity, but what can I what's the lowest I can charge them that will make us money, that will be right for them?
Yes.
And it's the exact same thing as what I hear from you.
Absolutely.
And to me, I think that's how you scale. I mean, listen, at least from my perspective, like that thinking makes me trust you. It makes me want to work with you. I just think the answer isn't always charge more. It's charge right.
I just had a friend come into town last week and he is really big in the growth space.
Yeah.
And he was like, I love you and I hate you for charging a flat fee.
Yeah.
Like, why don't you charge some sort of percentage? And I was like, because I don't have to.
Kaitlyn, I really feel the exact same way.
It's like, I'm so clear on my personal financial plan.
It's because you worked backwards on your North Star.
Yes.
And it just, to me, it just says it all. I'm so blown away by you and by what you're building. I'm not even sure. Oh, I have other things. Okay. I couldn't even get through because I adore you so much. And you're so on point.
The feeling is so mutual.
Oh, all right. From your perspective, when should people start thinking about planning for an exit? Like, how far into their business?
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't want to scare people, but day one.
Day one.
Yes.
I'm day one too.
Yes, because this is how powerful reverse engineering is.
Yes.
Like, imagine if that friend, he was very well intentioned, but imagine if that friend came to me and I wasn't so fortified and cleared in my own vision.
Yep.
I could be going on a wild goose chase, just like charging percentages here and there. Why?
Yep.
Like, your plan keeps you honest.
Yeah.
For me, I will likely have an internal transfer.
Yep.
For me, AKA a succession plan.
Yep.
For me, that means it's even more important than in building financial independence
Yep.
because I'll be willing to take a lesser price tag for an internal transfer.
Yep.
That helps a lot in terms of every decision that I am making along the way.
And it's not, then it doesn't become, see, the thing for me is it's like all about having the options. It's the optionality
Yes.
of your exit, that it's
Yes.
not just, I have to sell to a strategic
Right.
for 8 times
Top
EBITDA.
dollar.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, it's really about having those options. And when you set those types of financial plans, that's how you do it.
Exactly. And in part of our implementation, we start to educate women on the 8 different exit strategies.
Yep.
Because a lot of times it's just like, knowledge is power.
Yep.
And they don't have access to this information. This is what we're so passionate about.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think I fell in love with you, obviously, the first day that we met.
Madly
but then
in
when I
love.
came back to New York and you were like, raise your hand if you know what EBITDA is. I was like,
No,
this is
they
amazing.
don't know. People
No.
don't know, and they're afraid to ask. So they
Yes.
sit on these things, and they're like, "That's why with assets under management, I'm like, what's AUM?"
Yes.
It's like because people don't know and they don't
Right.
realize. And you broke it down so clearly. This is a good one. Ready?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. There's lots of shiny objects of things we can invest in. Okay. So and TikTok is aflame with every possible investing strategy, tax strategy, et cetera. You talk a little bit about like avoiding some of the shiny object syndrome.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So how do you balance that? Like when you're working with clients, I would imagine, because if I'm working with you now,
Yeah.
okay, and I have my portfolio fine, but like I might want to try some shiny shit. How do I evaluate whether or not it's just a shiny object or am I buying a laundromat? Like what am I doing? What am I doing?
Okay, so there are, let's see, I feel like I might be missing one. Let's just say there are 5 to 6 general categories
Okay.
of investments. So
Okay.
there's stocks,
Yep.
bonds, cash, private markets,
Okay.
and insurance.
Okay.
Those are kind of like the main categories
Okay.
of types of investments.
Okay.
And so and real estate.
Okay.
I knew I was missing one. Okay, so there's 6. Each of those categories has pros and cons. And you need to be really clear on what the pros and cons of those categories are.
Okay.
And whether you are willing to accept the pros and cons of each category. And if those pros and cons support your vision for your lifestyle or hinder it.
Okay. Where does Bitcoin
Oh my
fall in
gosh.
those? Where's Bitcoin up in there?
Okay, so Bitcoin is considered a speculation right now, and that's for 2 reasons.
Okay.
Number 1, it's not regulated.
Right.
And number 2, there's no way to value it.
Yeah.
It doesn't produce cars. It doesn't
Right.
produce a service.
Right.
I just saw this morning it's at like 66,000. I was like, wait, wasn't it just at 105?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Well, because less people want it.
Yeah.
That's why, not
Yeah.
because they produced less cars
Right.
in Q4.
Right.
So from an investment lens, you can't value it. So I don't know if I ever see it crossing over into becoming a true investment. We'll see. But if you were like, I just want to be in the game,
Yep.
we would say limit it to 5% of your portfolio or less.
Okay.
Because it's not going to wipe you out.
So I love this, but I will say also that when I ask you that, I trust you differently than I ask somebody who is assets under management because it doesn't, for you, you're totally neutral. So the answer is not dissimilar to what I would ask someone who is a CFP, I think, who does assets under management. But I have so much trust in what you would say because you're not looking at, oh, well, if she bought Bitcoin, she'd have to divert money from her portfolio.
Right.
Yeah.
That was my whole goal.
I get it.
I want to speak the truth because it's the truth.
Oh,
Not
get
because
it.
I get paid any more or less.
I get it. Okay. What about angel investing?
Angel investment is private markets.
Private markets.
So, pro of private markets is it could go to the moon.
Yeah.
Who knows? It could be
Yeah.
the next Uber.
Yeah.
Con of private markets is you could lose your whole investment.
Yep.
And if you look at the odds, they're heavily skewed towards you're going to lose your whole investment.
Yeah.
So again, any of these things, like we are happy to explore them with you.
Yeah.
It's just how does this affect your overall financial plan?
Yeah.
And is this going to derail your overall financial plan? Or
Right.
is this going to be like a little blip? Doesn't really matter whether it works out or not. We want to see people more in that category.
Yeah. When we exited, we took a less than 1%, I think. Less than 1%. But we started like a small fund and we did some angel investing and some things like that. I did learn from it. I think we will probably just make back what we invested, which is actually more than I thought we would. I looked at it as like I was testing this and I was basically investing this in women I believe in and things like that. And we'll probably make a little bit on it. We're coming up on 3 years. So, but just the fact that I didn't lose on it, I feel like is like a big win. You can't to me, I don't look at it like that's my money-making mechanism. And that's why sometimes when I see on TikTok or any of these things about how you make so much money doing this, and listen, I want to encourage angel investing, but also you have to know what you're getting into. What's upside and downside of real estate?
Upside and downside of real estate. Okay, so upside is there's capital appreciation.
Yep.
If you are collecting rent can go up with inflation.
Yep.
There are tax benefits. People are not always aware that, like, yes, if you're going to run a cost segregation study and get a massive tax advantage this year, when you go to sell, you will have to like recoup what you wrote off.
Yes.
So it's not that the tax liability goes away.
It just
You're
gets
just
delayed.
moving it around.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing about, it's not like you can never really fully avoid Uncle Sam. You can just like put him on a delay for a little bit.
And then the other thing is like that is diversification away from the markets, which is diversification is the cornerstone of wealth preservation. So like we have our primary residence. We also have a condo that we rent out, and then we have a market portfolio. For me, having 3 kids, 5 and under, I'm like, that's perfect. That's it. Like, I don't need any more complexity in my life. And then I have the business. What business would be private markets. So, I mean, high potential return, but a lot of risk too.
Could be zero eventually. You never know.
Yeah.
But
hopefully not. But
it won't.
And then con of real estate. Okay. So the massive con with real estate is that it's illiquid.
It's totally illiquid.
We have 2 clients right now. It is very painful to watch.
Yeah.
They have been sitting on properties for almost a year, and they're having to float those properties. So if you're going to get into real estate, you have to have the cash to get through those seasons. So the illiquidity, the fact that you do have to be fluent in the tax benefits and how those can come back into the picture. And then it can be costly. Like if you buy a property and then realize it has foundation issues, well, you're on the hook for that.
Also, like just the management of the property too. It's like a headache. I mean, I did it after we sold. We bought a property that is like a mixed use. Like could do mostly rentals, and then we go like a week or 2 of the year, and it's a lot more work. People told me it was work. No,
people like
fetchy renters and
social media will make you think it's like the click of an ETF. And it's not.
It's not.
It's you. And then also like if you're not going to do a property management company, well, like then it is a lot of work.
It's a lot
and
of
then
work.
if you do a property management company, that can be like anywhere we've seen 20 to 40%.
Yeah.
So, and then also interest rates. So buying an Airbnb in 2020 is much different than buying an Airbnb today because of where rates are.
100%.
So you just got to like run the analysis fully and then be like, am I comfortable with this? Have I thought about all of the pros and all of the cons?
All right. Listening to this podcast right now.
Yes.
We've got a founder who's just crossed $1 million. She's profitable. It's her first foray. She has a savings account, but like most of like her wealth is built up in this thing that she poured her heart and soul into.
Right.
What's her first step? Other than call you, which she needs to do immediately. That is what she needs to do.
Okay. Well, I feel like compelled to say congratulations to this woman.
That's right.
Because I mean, think about what a small percentage of women have reached that milestone.
That's right.
Now you have built something real, which is so cool. And so the next question should be, where do I want to take this thing? And in order to answer that question, we do need to be clear on where do you want to take it? And that is determined by what does your plan for your life look like? And that is going to be so unique to you. It ceases to amaze me, like the things that bring clients happiness that bring me no happiness and vice versa.
Tell me about that.
Well, I'm like really not a car person.
Me too. Don't get me, Jose. Jose knows. Jose's a car person. And then, I drive a 2020 Chevy Trax with a hatch. It's a hatchback. His name is George, as Jose knows. We've made videos about George.
Oh my gosh. We just had like a client. She is actually one of my dearest friends and I love her so much. We had our goals call last week and she wanted a $5,000 a month budget for her handbags. And then she wants like a closet for her handbags. And I was like, I love you. And I would never, ever want that.
Never.
I am like a hot coffee from a coffee shop walk with my dog on Saturday morning. Like very simple in those ways. I will say like I'm bougie when I travel.
Me too.
But not like I could sit coach anywhere. I don't care about that. But I do like nice hotels and like getting the Uber Black, that kind of stuff.
We have the exact same spending habits. That's crazy.
It's just so funny. When she said that, I'm like, I do not give a shit about handbags.
I don't care.
I just don't. I've had the same one for 5 years.
Me too. Same. Don't get my Lululemon fanny pack from the other room.
It is
terrible.
But I love sitting there I never miss a goals call because they're so fun.
They're so fun because everybody feels differently about what they want and need.
I love it.
The big thing for me when I talk about exit planning, it's very similar. We talk about what your exit goal is to sell this business for. And when we talk about that, I just think it's so important to eliminate judgment because whatever somebody's number is their number for whatever reason they have. And owning that, allowing that space to be.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's what makes the difference, I think. It's like I can't tell you how it makes me crazy when I hear people talking only about these 9-figure exits and, huge $1 billion exits and all of these outcomes when time and time again, there are women out there who can make the lifestyle that they want to create through the growth and acceleration of a business that does not need to be anywhere near that.
Oh my gosh, 100%.
100%.
I think that's like actually some of the most relieving information that we deliver is it can actually take so much less than you think it does.
So much less than you think.
Yeah.
I learned that in my exit too, because I was always very afraid. And I ended up, the way I structured, I did not have really strong, good tax strategy, and which is fine. It's fine. You learn, and I did not. I went into it too late, and then I sort of felt like I had a weird thing. I talked about this in the opening episode of this season. Like I had a thing where like I felt like I was contributing to the greater good. Like I felt good about paying the taxes in a weird way, like writing that huge check, which nobody will identify with in the world except for a lunatic like me. But I didn't do a lot of good tax strategy. And what Dave said to me was like, I promise you, like we're safe. And it's the number, it's a marginal amount, truly. And he was right, but it took me a long time to learn that, I think. Like it's less than you think a lot of times. Like I know they say life costs more than you think a lot of the times, but also like that exit number, it just doesn't have to be as insane as you think, especially if you have a good tax strategy too.
Right, yes.
It's
and
definitely.
I actually totally know what you're saying about the taxes.
You do?
I do. I feel very similarly.
Thank you for validating me. I felt like I was the only person on earth who felt that. Like I was happy to write it in a way.
I do. And I think, I don't know, I guess there's a reason I live in Massachusetts, which has like some of the highest taxes.
Massachusetts and New York.
I am not very motivated by trying to like finagle my way out of the tax bill. I want to be smart. I want to make sure
you have to be smart. You have to do what, there are incentives available for a reason to incentivize business owners.
Right. But I mean, okay, sorry, this is a total tangent, but like we got free screening services for my children for early intervention. And that's paid for by the state.
Yes.
And so like I don't have a problem paying Massachusetts taxes because I know like for the most part it's being put towards the roads and education and services like that.
Right.
I think where people get jaded is like when they see dumb stuff on the federal level. But there has to be this like energetic exchange. And if you are trying to skirt the energetic exchange too much, then
that's right. It's a balance.
Yes,
it's a balance. But I balanced way too far on the yay, I'm supporting everyone in the world.
Yes.
I skirted way too much in that direction. But you live, you learn, and you just entrepreneurs create again and again and again. And that's what's so wonderful about it. It's so wonderful about entrepreneurship. It's what's so wonderful about dreaming and having goals. And I feel so grateful to know you, to have you as a partner with the Whisper Group. You're the best. And I really hope that everybody listening to this calls Kaitlyn like ASAP. Like, I don't know, what's the best way? What's the best way they reach out?
Really just our website.
Okay.
It's theoryplanning.com. It's a one-page website. No surprise.
I love a one-page website.
And there's a link at the bottom to book with me.
Great.
Or you can find us on Instagram at Theory Planning Partners.
Awesome. Kaitlyn, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me, Carrie.
Yay! Yay.